the next key concept. The first one is distributed control. Because of several nodes and possibly all the nodes in the distributed system, they participate in performing distributed operation, right? So because of that, none of the computer or user process will face a delay or time delay for its execution, right? Next one, the transparency. What is transparency? A resource or a service can be accessed without having to know its location in the distributed system, right? So user one sitting in India can access the resource which is sitting in US, right? Irrespective of the location of resources, right? So, or you can say within the state, if within the country, if you consider the user sitting in Karnataka can access the user sitting in what, Andhra Pradesh or Gujarat, right? Like that, because you might have seen the main branches of SBI. Let us say the Karnataka main branch of SBI wants to communicate with the Gujarat main branch, SBI main branch. Then they can communicate through an internet, right? So, and even if they want to share something, or even the Gujarat main branch SBI, if it provides authorization, then a Karnataka main branch SBI user can directly access the resources or files which is available in that Gujarat main branch SBI, right? So this all possible with the help of an internet, right? So this will be all handled by the distributed operating system. Next, a remote procedure call. What is RPC? Remote procedure call. A process calls a procedure that is located in a different computer system. The RPC is analogous to a procedure or a function call in the program language, except that the OS passes parameters to the remote procedure over a network and returns its result over a network, right? So it is like calling a function, right? If you are, let us say, if you are performing, if you are sitting and reading a book, then suddenly your father comes and tells you, you go and open an account in a SBI or a federal bank, then come back, right? Then you can continue with the reading. Then what you will do, you will you will put a bookmark, right? So in that book, whichever you are reading, then you will go to main branch, you will open an account and you will come back, right? So RPC is like a remote procedure call. What is a procedure here? The opening of an account, right, which is placed where the bank exists, right? So that is nothing but a remote procedure call, right? So remotely that place is existing, that bank is existing, there you have to go and you have to execute a procedure of opening of an account. That is a procedure call. Then you have to come back and start reading your book, start reading the page from where you have left, right? So even that can be done in case of operating system, right? So but here operating system will passes the parameters in the case what operation you have to do, or certain operations certain operation if you are doing, then what parameters or what are the inputs for that operation, right? So that will be passed by the operating system, right? So these all key concepts will be handled by the distributed operating system. So RPC, process calls a procedure that is located in a different computer system. Let us say one of the computer system, one of the process is running in one of the computer system, and if it wants to call any function, if it wants to call any task, or if it wants to call any of the process which is running in some other computer system, that can be done with the help of a remote procedure call. Only this is only possible if two computers are connected through an internet, right? So moving to the next slide. This is that was the end of what the distributed operating system, right? So next we will see next operating system, which is multi-programming operating system. So next operating system is multi-programming operating system. As the name itself tells, there are multiple. These operating system will help help the user to execute the multiple number of programs in a computer system, in a single computer system, right? So let us see this multi-programming system in operating system in detail. Multi-programming operating systems were developed to provide efficient resource utilization, right? So even multiple that means, if let us say, if user computer system is running only one program, if user computer system is running only one program, then it can allocate, it can use only limited number of resources, right? So certain resources, the other resource will be wasted. That means if they are not properly utilized, if let us say there are 1 MB of memory, I'll be taking only one example, right? So such multiple resources will be having in the computer system, right? So let us say 1 MB of memory are there in the computer system, and a user process is using only 1 MB of memory, right? So rest of the 4 MBs of memories are wasted, or instead of wasted, you can say what you can say the memories are not utilized efficiently, right? Memories are not utilized efficiently, right? So in that case, what I can do, instead of running only one program in a computer system, I can run multiple user processes or programs in a one computer system. Let us say 4 more programs if I bring to that computer system, then total 5 programs I have, and each program will be will be requesting for 1 MB of memory, right? So this 1 MB of memory can be utilized by all those 5 programs, right? So 5 programs, in the sense we are maintaining a multiple programs in one computer system, and OS must handle all these multi-program execution of these multiple programs simultaneously or parallelly, right? So that is nothing but a multi-programming system. I hope you understood the concept of a multi-programming system, right? So since resources are vacant, or since the resources are available in the computer system, we can bring, instead of executing only one process in a computer system, we can bring a multiple number of programs or processes, and we can start executing them simultaneously, right? So because of that, what happens, there are the resources will be utilized efficiently, or 100%, right? Next, a multiple program has a multiple programming OS has many user programs in a memory of a computer at any time, hence the name multi-program. As I already told, it is the computer system is going to have multiple number of programs, right? So, or user programs which are going to be run simultaneously, right? Hence the name multi-programming. It employs the DMA mode of IO, so it can perform IO operations of some program while using the CPU to execute some other program, right? So here we have different programs, right? So one we call it as CPU bound program, a second one is IO bound program. What do you mean by CPU bound program, right? So in CPU bound program, let us say the program requires only CPU, that is central processor unit, for its execution, right? So it doesn't require any IO operation, right? It doesn't have any IO operation, right? So in that case, I can say the entire program is CPU bound program, right? So some programs are also IO bound program. Once the execution of those programs are over, then you can say it can perform IO operations for a longer time, right? So when IO operations are performed by a particular computer program or a process, then we can release the process, we can assign the central processor unit to some other processes, right? So it will employ the DMA mode of an IO. DMA stands for direct memory access, right? So in case of direct memory access, what happens, the resources, the programs or processes are directly going to access the memory, right? So those processes are called the IO bound processes mode of IO, so it can perform IO operations of some program while using CPU to execute some other program, right? So CPU will be released when programs are doing IO operations, and CPU can be utilized to execute some other program, right? So until and unless the first program finishes its IO execution, the CPU will not kept idle, or will not be free, right? So that will be allocated to some other processes to execute, right? So once the first process finishes its IO execution, then again depending on the priorities of those processes, the CPU can be assigned to or allocated to that particular the first, you can say, the first program, right? This arrangement makes efficient use of both CPU as well as IO devices. So when process is performing IO operation, then your CPU can be utilized for some other processor, and when CPU is getting executed, then IO operations can be then the other processes can perform the IO operations. So in this manner we are switching between the central processor unit as well as the IO devices. So it will this arrangement makes efficient use of both CPU as well as IO devices. So when one of the processes is performing IO operations, then CPU will not be kept free, right? So some or the other processes will be brought in the CPU, and they will be started executing, right? So all these operations will be handled by the multi-programming kernel. The same kernel it is, it's a part of an operating system only, but we are calling it as a multi-programming kernel because we are discussing a multi-programming operating system. So we call the heart of the kernel, heart of the operating system, which is a multi-programming kernel, right? So let us see this diagram, right? So here uh, the multi-programming kernel will maintain all these operations what I discussed above here, right? So let us see the operation, how multi-program is going to perform this how multi-programming kernel is going to perform this operation, right? So in this diagram, let us say the first program is this is a memory, the queue, you can say, right, in which multiple programs are sitting and they are getting executed, right? So let us say the first program 1 is performing IO operation, right? So in that case, I do not need the first program does not need a CPU, central processor unit is not required by the program 1, right? So in that case, what I can do, the or what operating system can do, it will allocate a central processor unit to some other process. The same thing is getting happened here. See, CPU is busy with program 2. I cannot say CPU is free. CPU is doing one or the other thing, right? So if program 1 is doing IO operation, then CPU can be allocated to program 2 and it starts executing on CPU. Program 2 will be executed, and because CPU is busy with program 2, then program 3 is idle. It has not yet come, its turn has not yet come. So program 3 turn is not yet come, right? So still it is waiting for either CPU or IO device, right? Next, second table you can see here. This is second one. So here program 1 is still performing IO operation. It has not yet finished IO operation, and program, let us say program 2 has started the IO operation. In that case, CPU will be released from the program 2 and it will be assigned to program 3. Now program 3 is running on CPU, right? So once program 3 has finishes its execution, let us say it doesn't have any IO operation, right? So let us say it doesn't have any IO operation, right? So once the program 3 finishes its execution, then what happens, the CPU will be released, and by that time, if program 1 has finished its IO operation, then CPU will be assigned to program 1, and program 2 is still performing IO operation, right? So even here the program 3 can finish its execution, right? Or if it is still executing, and if program 1 has finishes its IO execution, then depending on the priorities, if program 1 has the highest priority, the program 1 has the highest priority, then the CPU will be relinquished or released from the program 3 and it will be given to program 1, right? So because program 1 has highest priority, again when the CPU will be released from program 1, when CPU or when the execution of program 1 finishes or it starts doing again IO operations. In that case, CPU will be released from program 1 and it will be assigned to program 3. Right? So in this manner, the multi-programming operating system will handle a different process, execution of different process in a computer system. Okay. So next topic is priorities of programs. As I already discussed in the last slide, that was how the CPU will be assigned to particular IO programs, user programs, depending on the priorities, right? So what is the priority of a programs? Priority is, as I already discussed, priority is a tie. It's a tie between a different process. When the two processes are fighting between themselves for requesting CPU, then a tie will be, or this fighting will be stopped only when by assigning priorities to the different process. Next one is the priority of a programs, right? So priorities are assigned to different programs and operating system will decide depending on these priorities, right? So to which program the central process priorities of the program, right? So an appropriate measure of performance of a multi-programming OS is throughput. What is throughput? As I already discussed, efficiency is measured with respect to time, then it is called a throughput, right? So what is throughput? How throughput is defined in case of multi-programming operating system? It is the ratio of number of programs processed and the total time taken to process them. That means the number of process executed per unit time. The unit time may be in 1 second, 1 hour, half an hour, 1 minute, 1 day, right? So these are all the number of the number of programs, user programs are executed per unit time is nothing but throughput in case of multi-programming operating system. The OS keeps a sufficient number of programs in a memory at all times so that the CPU and IO devices will have a sufficient work to perform, right? So it is a part of, or it is a task of an operating system that it is task of an operating system that it has to maintain a sufficient number of user programs in a memory. Then only I can say multiple programming OS is performing 100%, right? So if it doesn't have a sufficient programs, then CPU or IO device will be has to wait until one or the other program is to be or one or the other program is to be executed at particular time. So this number is called a degree of programming, right? So how many user programs are maintained in a computer system memory, right? Those numbers are number of user programs is called a degree of multi-programming. So the multi-programming OS employs an overlap of CPU and IO activities, right? So this requires a little explanation, so I don't have so much of time now, right? So what we will do, we will continue it in the next class. Okay, thank you.